importante porque, bueno, pues ya sabes. Oye, no tenemos, no tenemos. Ay, es verdad, me dijo ayer. Vale, ya nos oyen normalmente. Me dijo ayer Jorge que tenía que le secuestraban hoy.
Jorge está secuestrado.
Sí, 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 hoy está
Va,
secuestrando. Está secuestrado,
vale,
sí.
vale. Hace bien.
Bueno, no lo creo, pero no le va bien porque
Mm,
Hola.
afecta a las cosas.
va ahí.
Ya estamos en directo,
O
amigo
sea,
Rubén. Em,
estamos en directo.
Sí,
Muy bien.
Llego un pelín tarde. Estaba acostando
bueno,
a la peque.
hay
Casi un
cosas,
momento un poco difícil.
hay cosas que son, pues eso,
VT es lo más importante del resto de las cosas que no son importantes.
claro.
Más o menos.
Sí, sí. Bueno, bueno, bueno.
Pues nada, ya nos ven también. A ver, vamos a ajustar un poquito
Ya estamos.
y vamos a poner esto así, mejor.
Ay, me ha saltado el anuncio en Twitch de que ya está retransmitiendo
Ya
Blitz de 3, qué maravilla.
estamos retransmitiendo, qué maravilla, ¿eh?
Como, bueno, pues
Las modernidades, tío.
esta va a ser una primera vez que vamos a compartir con gente.
Sí,
Nos
eso
vamos,
es.
es un nuevo hito en Blitz de 3, nuestro primer programa internacional. Porque hasta ahora lo habíamos hecho con sevillanos y gente de Malvivir, pero internacional no.
Bueno,
También es internacional, ¿no? En cierto modo.
gaditanos, algún
Hemos
catalán.
tenido
No, lo hicimos con gente de Chile también. Hemos entrevistado a la gente de Chile y de México, del DF.
la de Zaragoza.
Sí,
Fíjate.
sí, cierto.
Pero primero que cambiamos de lengua, seguro. Eso sí.
Eso parece, eso parece.
A ver.
Pues nada, todo tuyo,
Pues,
Rubén.
pues mira,
Está en tus
empezamos.
manos.
Pues buenas noches, amigos y amigas. Good night, friends. Diréis, ¿qué hace Rubén pasando de repente a inglés? Pues resulta que hoy tenemos un momento especial para nosotros en Blitz 3, el primer programa que nos traemos a un jugador europeo con el que vamos a hacer parte del programa en inglés. Ya os lo aviso, hemos conseguido traer pues a un titán, a un juggernaut, a uno de los tíos que sabe de qué va este juego, que es Martin Weinmayer, austríaco, es un jugador con palmarés, no como el que os está hablando. Este sí ha ganado torneos y además ha ganado torneos de nivel. Y creemos pues que es muy interesante además contar con él porque además él ha sido el promotor de esta iniciativa de juego que anunciamos en el podcast ya la semana pasada, como es el Clash of Titans, que es la oportunidad de coger y juntar en la Cave una serie de jugadores de alto nivel europeo y que puedan hacer una serie de partidas de exhibición, pues que además nosotros, pues desde Bleed 3 seremos uno de los generadores de contenido sobre VTs que podremos colaborar con ellos. Aprovecho para saludar. Hoy contamos con Alex, que va a ser el que con sus conocimientos en inglés me va a sacar de esta. Buenas noches, Alex.
Pues, Egunon, buenas noites, bona nit y good night.
Muy bien. Conan, tu apoyo lo tenemos, ¿no?
Night. Good night.
Nice, ¿no?
Sí,
La
sí.
madre que te parió.
Night, night, night. Good night.
Paco Joaquín,
Sí,
buenas
sí,
noches.
aquí estamos.
Buenas noches,
Muy
salió
bien.
corriendo porque iba a meterle fuego a la cocina, básicamente.
Eso sí que es importante. Y luego esperamos
Sí.
que en cualquier momento vuelva el quejador profesional de este grupo, que es Nano. Así que, si os parece sin más dilación, hoy básicamente lo que queremos es tener una charla con Martín. Os aviso a los espectadores y espectadoras. En la entrevista, cuando terminemos una de las preguntas, pues haremos un breve resumen, una breve sinopsis, pues para aquellos y aquellas que no controlen mucho de inglés, por lo menos lo básico que nos ha contestado el bueno de Martín, pues que podamos decirlo. Así que, sin más dilación, paso ya al inglés. Tonight, at Bleed the Tres, we have a special guest. Today, we have the pleasure of having Martin Weinmayer with us. He's an Austrian player who has won more than a dozen tournaments that we know of, and
At
we can
least.
consider him one of the great European players of VTS. He's possible the best Stanislava player in the world, from my humble point of view. Martin, good evening and welcome to Bleed the Tres.
Yeah, hola guys, I'm Martin Weinmayer, hailing from Austria, Vienna, and my greetings to all my Spanish friends, Spanish competitors, and of course to everyone around the world who's watching. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for your time, Martin.
Thank you, Martin.
You are well known as a well-renowned player and a traveler, and do I want to do to you a small questions because we want to share our experience with our public. Then, Martin, how long have you been playing Vampire the Eternal Struggle, and how did you get started with the game?
Yeah, so my start with trading card games was actually with Magic the Gathering. I played it in 1994. So, 30 years ago, started playing 1 year Magic, and then like pretty soon, I think it was Christmas time, my friends introduced me to BTS, and from that point on, we had a couple of friends, like 4 friends, and yeah, we would then meet up every week, every 2 weeks, have fun with the game, exploring the cards. It was a crazy time when there were really no cell phones. You had this very
Yeah.
strange internet,
When
50,
when you
56K modem.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. When you have only one deck and a couple of boosters, and you have to make changes fast with your friends to try to build something useful.
Yeah, it was a crazy time of
Yeah.
exploration. You know, like when you first started it, we were wondering, there was a card, a master card called Ascendant. You play it and you get one pull,
One
and
pull.
everyone was wondering, wow, that's the super broken card. Everyone, we need to have it
It's
and
a
some.
third
And
of a Azure tablet, one ascendant.
yeah, I mean, I should
Think
have
about
it.
that.
Talk about power spikes, but yeah, back then it was like just exploring, and then after a couple months we found out, yes, Blood, it's a good card actually.
Yeah, and minion tap.
Mhm.
Yeah, so stuff like that happened, right? Yeah, so I started super early, and it was a great time in Vienna. We had like usual player base, 40-50 people. You go there, play a league. So it started up pretty well for us, and that's why we also had the first European Championships
Yes, I remember.
organized in Vienna, because the playgroup was really strong. I
Was
remember there was some,
2001 or 2002?
you mean how often we had the championship in Vienna,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
so it was 1999, I
99
think
maybe.
2000
Maybe
and
99. Yeah.
2001, so 3 times.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was words like, I think the French player base was pretty strong. Maybe you guys remember what was it like in Spain? When did you know when did the player base grow up really to a really good point in Spain? Was it later or early?
Uh, no, it was later. I think it was in maybe in 2002, 2003, when the community, at least in Barcelona where I live, it was when the community starts to gather frequently, and so uh, because in the very early in the century, well, yeah, that was the very first uh, tournaments that the community starts to gather here in Spain. I think latest
Yeah, because I
90s,
remember
early 20. Yeah,
I remember like in 2003, you guys had a really strong community already,
yeah.
because
We
like
made
it
we
was
made
the EC in Barcelona,
we made the
and when we
European in
came over, like
Barcelona.
it
Yeah,
was like 200 people or something close. So
yeah.
it was until then it was the biggest EC we had. That was in Spain in
Yes,
2003 Barcelona.
yes. That was a great era for the game. We we used to move every weekend with our friends to the different places, to Valencia, to Zaragoza, to play tournaments and so. And yeah, I think it was the beginning of the, but not the beginning, because the beginning was very earlier, but the when the game was on the top
Yeah,
here
it
here.
became a lot more international after that, I think.
Yeah, and
Like
the next
people started traveling.
next TC was in Budapest, I think, and it was a good one. No, that was, or Heidelberg was a great one too. Then Paris was a great one too. Those years was I think the ones that the community was more.
Alex,
Tell me.
if you keep speaking, the translation is going to be
Yeah,
really hard
yeah,
to
yeah. Sí.
to
Sorry,
make.
Bueno, pues
I need to do a little recap, okay?
bueno, sí.
Sorry, Martin. Now I'm going to speak in Spanish for our spectators. Bueno, Martin Weinmayer nos ha comentado que él era un jugador de Magic the Gathering y que en las Navidades de 1994 es cuando él empieza a jugar con un grupo de amigos en Viena a VTES. Además, VTES tiene un éxito tremendo en Austria, llegan a conseguir juntar una comunidad de 40-50 jugadores y comenta pues que el primer europeo de VTES, de hecho, se realiza en Viena en el año 99 y luego llegan a realizar otros campeonatos hasta tres, siendo el último de ellos, creo, en 2001. Ha comentado pues que el inicio del juego pues que era una época totalmente diferente, sin internet, sin teléfono móvil, tenías que crear los mazos por tu cuenta, había el producto que había, tenías que cambiar con los amigos.
En servilletas de papel, recuerdo yo crear
Hacía los
mazos.
mazos a prisa, había cartas que usaba antes que ahora han dejado de usarse, como por ejemplo la ascendencia o el ascendance, o incluso comenta cómo en aquella época una de las cartas estrellas era el Minion Tap. Y luego, pues Alex y Martin han estado dialogando de cómo, junto con Austria en esa época, otra comunidad muy fuerte de jugadores, como era la comunidad de Francia, y que España, el despegue del juego de VTS empieza un poquito más tarde, en el año 2003-2004. Yeah, finish the quotes of the first question.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Martin,
Yeah.
another question. I have made a little joke about your Stanislava decks, but it's true. You are well renowned as a high scale level player of Stanislava decks. I have copied decks of you. Really, and now I'm playing one of your latest version of Stanislava. But we want to know, what are your favorite decks to play? Is there any strategy that you feel most comfortable with, or you are a well-round player and you really enjoy to play all kind of strategies that allows VTS?
Yeah. So first thing I have to mention is that I come from a very how to say it, like when I started, I was playing Clan Tremere block decks like all the time, because I was like, I'm from Vienna, there's the Chantry, there's Atreus in the town, so this kind of background thingy happened, and I was really fascinated by the clan, and I started just playing block decks
A little
almost
bit of
like 15 years. So,
romanticism, a little bit.
yeah, a little bit romanticism about this Tremere stuff, So the thing when I shifted, it was actually in Palma de Mallorca when Gines, organized the AC 2009.
Yep.
It was a great DC too. And this was when I came to realize that a block deck is cool and stuff, but your ousting mechanism is kind of a problem, right? You have to swarm your opponent at some point, and if it doesn't happen in time, you just lose. And I just was like fed up with all the timeouts, basically. I tried everything, stuff like that, but in the end, it's a little slow deck, so you have to be really fast when you play a block deck, or you just end up not getting the game win, depending on the decks, on the other decks on the table, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So this is when I was seeing a player from Germany, actually, Errol Ongün, and he was playing Stanislava, and he was I met him in the finals also, and I just see it has the opportunity to do so much damage in so little time. Then, if you set it up correctly, you don't have to worry about the time limit anymore. So you have the tools, cross-tier tools and stuff, to speed up the game. and then this was like the time when I came really realize, okay, let's move. let's let's move on, get this block thing done with, take over Stanislava and make some really cool plays because I think the explosiveness of a Stanislava deck or similar decks is just a great tool. If you're not the fastest player on the planet and stuff, then you should compensate this with playing more aggressive decks or decks that can do a lot of damage in little time.
Okay, great.
So that's what I like the most about Stanislav. So if you ask me about favorite decks, I would tell you, block decks is still kind of my favorite style. But it's just hard to oust. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so I would say block decks and Stanislava Vote Bleed is my favorite. Yeah.
Okay, ahora I'm going to explain. So, bueno, dice que él, debido a un poquito de romanticismo, ¿no, Rubén? Dice que como es de Viena y con todo el tema de las capillas y esto, que empezó jugando Tremers con los Tremers y que tiró por la parte de blocker, no por la parte grinder o por la parte toolbox, que podía haber sido. Pero no, que dice que le gusta a él gustar por gustar, que le gustan los blockers, pero que ve que después de unas cuantas partidas de mosqueo por timeout, que dijo, yo necesito algo que sea un poquito más agresivo, y que se encontró en una final a un jugador alemán que jugaba Stanislava y dijo, wow, esto mata. Y que desde entonces, que podría decirse que es su mazo favorito, que es el de Stanislava.
Y además comenta, puedo entender una cosa, que aunque tú no seas el jugador más rápido que hay en este juego, pero que si llevas un mazo que es rápido, que es explosivo, que te da capacidad para matar, eso te ayuda a compensar tu estilo de juego.
Eso es lo que dice, que para compensar, si eres un jugador lento jugando, que compenses jugando un mazo agresivo que te dé la capacidad de matar en poco tiempo, para que compenses jugar lento, ¿no?
Eso se lo tatuaría yo a más de uno en el lomo.
A más de dos.
I have a question, Martin. Now that you play a lot of international tournaments, and so I know what kind of players you can find in one country or another. And in the last live that we had last week, the last episode of our podcast, we were discussing about the speed of the Spanish player against the players in Europe. Being from Austria, do you find the meta game here in Spain different and in the other countries? Do you find it faster or it's the same?
Good question. Let me think about it. Like, I would think with all the internet stuff happening, it's really hard to find like from tech wise, right? It's mostly the same, I think, because people are net decking, they find out the very good decks, and
we share information very fast.
Yes, so that's a lot different. Like in the early days of VTS, I would think there was a lot of difference from country per country, because you see a lot of different ideas, a lot of different decks. Now with the internet, it's not so much. So I would think the real difference usually comes from the people playing it, right?
Yeah.
So when I compare your player base to maybe let's compare it to the more Nordic player base, like in our friends from Finland or Sweden. So that they're more like reserved, right? And you guys are usually a lot more passionate. So when it comes to it, so that makes a lot of difference on the table, actually, because some people from the north maybe have a little more problems understanding your point of view of the game, and there will be some discussions or some misunderstanding just because of the different approach to the But that's the thing about VTS. Like that's the the thing. If you travel somewhere and it's a little bit different, you have to adapt, right?
Yes.
If you guys are a bit more outspoken and loud,
Yes.
okay, you have to adapt to it and find your way, yeah, to use this to your advantage.
Yeah,
If
for
not,
sure.
that's a problem.
Yes, yeah,
So,
of course. Pues si quiere
Lo que,
explicarlo.
That's
so
very
when
una
cool.
forma
it comes to differences, I think it's just more about the people
The
and the
people, yes,
approach to the game than to the actual decks they play.
I
Yeah.
think
Sí.
one of the moments you can find it here in Spain, for example, breaking a pact is almost a sin. It's really if you
Yes.
make a pact here in Spain and you are dishonest with it, it will last for years.
It's
For
written
people
with
not
blood. It's written with blood.
yes, if you break a pact, no one will ever make a pact with you again. And in the northern, I think it's normal to okay now the table is different. I have to kill you. And last turn I told you you were being alive for the rest of the game, and it's okay with that. I
Yeah,
think.
that's the thing. I can't even tell you, what is the in terms of winning. Yeah, what's the better
Mhm.
approach? It's really hard because it comes down to the actual table and what happens on the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
sometimes you get away with deal breaking and stuff, and you just win the table with it, right? But on the other hand, you will also lose lose tables with that approach, and
I
if you honor the deals, you might win tables that you wouldn't have otherwise. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's hard
that
to even for me.
happened.
It's hard to tell what's the best approach. It's
That
just so
happened
different.
in the last table we had in Milan with Pau. The pact I made with Pau, I don't know if you had this card, but I will trust you. And he was the same, and he honored the pact. I think it was really beautiful that moment.
Yeah, but
And
that was
any other
easier for
player,
you because Paul is from Spain too, so you could kind of trust him, right?
I didn't know it at the moment.
Okay.
it's very difficult to make a recap of a conversation of 5 minutes.
Yeah, yes, I know.
Please, please respect me. I'm going to translate. Bueno, lo que le ha preguntado Nano a Martin es si él, que ahora que ha viajado, tiene una visión amplia, si él percibe diferencias notables entre cómo se juega en unos países a otros. La respuesta de Martin es que los mazos son muy similares porque la información se comparte a través de Internet, de las webs, de los contactos de los jugadores. Lo que sí hay diferencia, donde él aprecia diferencias, las personalidades en cómo se afronta el juego en cada país. Poner ejemplo de que los jugadores en España somos muy apasionados y ha salido una conversación entre Nano y Martin hablando sobre cómo en otros países el romper o ahorrar un pacto se entiende como un mecanismo más del juego y en cambio en España lo de que rompa un pacto pues eso te condena para toda la vida. Y Martin ha hecho una reflexión muy interesante que es muy difícil decir cuál es la aproximación exacta porque de la misma forma que hay partidas que nunca ganarías si no rompes el pacto, hay partidas que nunca vas a ganar si no honras los pactos. Así que ha sido un intercambio muy interesante. Muy bien.
Great.
¿Tenéis, shall I continue or do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have any
Sure,
question?
sure.
Okay. Martin, another easy question. Do you have a favorite country where play?
Favorite country? I mean,
Here in Spain, food is great.
Or you have a country that you really hate to play? You can answer what question do you prefer?
Oh,
I've been
he's
to
very
so
polite.
many
He's
countries.
very
It's
polite. He's not going to say us a place, not, a country not to play.
I'm
I mean,
I'm trying it.
I can say as much. Of course, the EC in Barcelona was really great,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of great experience with the Spanish community. So, I mean, it's definitely a very good place for me. Like I also won the EC in Palma de Mallorca back in the day, 2009.
Yeah.
I've just all in all, I've just great experience with the Spanish community. If you ask me about different locations, I also really like the Finnish community.
Yes. They are.
Even though they're super different than you guys, right?
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
you can find a lot of really cool and positive and
But
super
we are,
nice things about
but we are
different people,
different.
right?
But we are different in the distance. But we are close when you met us. we are very very similar too. We will love our friends. We love to. Because the problem is the weather. I think that's why we are different because they don't have a nice weather to enjoy, and we have.
Yeah, you have a lot more sun.
Yeah, but if they have this kind of weather, they enjoy the nice weather and so as we do. So I think the difference is, of course, we the personality here is different, as you said before. We are more passionate. We are more, but in the end, well, we're different, but very very friendly too, very close too, very. I went last year to the year before to Helsinki, and I felt really really
Ah, nice.
comfortable with them. And well, they are more shy, more
More reserved. Yeah, in
more
general.
reserved,
Yeah, yeah.
but they are when you are inside inside his inner circle, when they accept you as a mate, they are really great. They are really really good guys too, and you can feel the heat inside. They are not a
Yeah.
cold. They are not a cold people. They have. Uh, they are really really good people there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can just, tell everyone, travel as much as you can. I know it's not always possible, but just the different aspects and different countries. It's just great to experience it.
Yeah.
And on that matter, I've been in the US,
Yes.
to America like 3 times now.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's great, right? It's just like,
It should
I
be
don't know,
it
the
should be
people are
different.
just, yeah. I mean, I think that the great difference is they're also really open-minded guys,
Great.
and they really enjoy, I would say, maybe their freedom or something. So you can see that in the deck choices. They play a lot more toolboxy. Do you have people they're putting in
Yes.
some
Yes. Yeah.
special cards because they want to have the freedom to play them, to have the opportunity and stuff.
Okay. That's
So
the
it's also
reason.
really great to see.
That's the reason you can't use a tournament winning deck of America in a European tournament because it's you are going to be crushed because they want.
I don't know. I mean, it can work too. No, it's just
Yeah, but
different. You
they
have
but
to
they
you have
want
to
to.
adapt a little bit.
But yeah. But they want to play that, as you say, a little bit of toolbox, a little bit of everything. That they have edited this card, and I have a reason to use it. As every card has an opportunity to be used in a deck. Or
Yeah. I mean, that being said,
there are
like you
mummify
find a lot of
or
yeah, you find a lot of diversity in the decks, but also you find a lot of diversity from the players themselves. So you have like people like Bill Troxel, or
yeah,
Darby
sure,
Keeney
Wow.
sure,
or
sure, sure.
Carl Schaefer, and they are like much more like, I would say, like
Yeah, for
you would
sure,
find in Europe. Like
for
they
sure,
play
for
like
sure,
decks that are like
sure,
very
sure.
straightforward and stuff like that. So
But
but that's the
sometimes,
fun part.
but sometimes from time to time you see a North American deck, and it it
Can be very
hit
toolboxy.
hit
Yes.
hit you what the hell, it too toolboxy. I don't know. Recap, Ruben.
Sorry, man, but you are a little bastard. Too much time, baby. Okay,
Sorry.
I try to do my best. Bueno, le he preguntado a Martin que si, ahora que ha viajado tanto y tal, que si tiene algún país favorito en el que jugar, y él ha comentado pues que ha disfrutado mucho de su experiencia jugando en España, recuerda con mucho cariño un torneo, un europeo creo que fue, organizado en 2009 por Gina y su gente en Palma de Mallorca. Le ha encantado también el europeo de Barcelona, el ambiente y la participación que ha habido. También comenta que le ha gustado mucho jugar en Finlandia y que él también flipa mucho yendo a jugar a Estados Unidos porque son mazos muy diferentes a los mazos europeos. Los mazos europeos están son mazos mucho más finalistas, los mazos americanos son mazos más toolbox y que hay grandes jugadores allí en Estados Unidos como Bill Troxel y Carl Sheffer con los que disfruta muchísimo jugando
Sí,
en
claro.
general. Y es lo que sí nos recomienda a todos, es que aprovechemos el VTES para viajar, para conocer gente, para conocer cómo se juega en otros sitios, que disfrutemos de jugar de este juego en otros países.
Yeah. So on that
Yeah.
matter, I was talking earlier this year to Joab Rogerio from Brazil,
Brazil, yeah.
and he was like inviting me, to join the South American Championship. So when we are talking about different countries and stuff, I really hope I can make it this year and just go to Rio de Janeiro and see what's up there. So I'm really excited. It's going to be on 7th of September.
Okay.
I think the European Championship is 2 weeks or 3 weeks later. Yeah, so I hope this can be like scheduled and I can finally meet the Brazil people, because I sometimes I play with them on Leque,
Yeah, me too,
and
but sometimes they leave, sometimes not.
sometimes sometimes people leave. Yeah, that's the thing. But first time I think there was like the saying that they are very combat heavy players. But then I looked up some of their winning decks, and I guess they are like using the same decks as we do nowadays. So
Yeah,
I'm
more or
really
less.
curious at how it will be in Brazil to actually play a championship there. Like it can be very different. Like I said before, the usual difference you will find in the players, not so much in the decks anymore.
Okay.
That's my take.
Dale, Rubén.
Que le dé, dale tú, tío. Por una, déjame
Bueno,
descansar el cerebro
pues
un momento.
estaba hablando de que también he tenido contacto con la gente de Brasil, que es muy probable que vaya al sudamericano de este año, que es en septiembre, el 7 de septiembre, que el europeo es 3 semanas después, que no sabe cómo lo programará, pero que intentará programarlo, y que bueno, que ha estado en contacto con João Rogueiro de Brasil, y que al principio tenían que han estado jugando algunas partidas por Lucky y tal, que al principio tenían un meta más de combate, de combate bastante fuerte, pero que ahora se han ido reformando, entre comillas, y que tienen algo más europeizado, más comparable a lo que tenemos nosotros.
Martin, I'm going to do two last questions, and later we'll do some questions that are appearing in the chat in Twitch. Okay. The last week, our friend Alex made the announcement and shared to us information about the Clash of Titan project, and you are one of the inspirators, the fundators. How did it originate? What is your objective with Clash of Titans? What are your next steps and of the team that is behind Clash of Titans?
Yes, so maybe you already heard it's called Clash of Titans Volume 1.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
I hope we get a lot more volumes. So this is like just the first iteration, and like the idea was born in just in Milan a couple of weeks ago when I met Danilo Torrisi, and we were like casually talking about playing and VTS and stuff, and he was like, Martin, I would really like to play with you guys, with Otso on a table, with Bram van Stappen on a table, Martin Schumacher, and you. Would really like to have this table, like just play it on a EC, right? And I was like, yeah, cool. I would be in totally. It would be awesome, right? But just it has a very 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 low chance to actually happen. So when I was going back to Vienna, I was thinking, yeah, how do we make this happen? And then kind of the idea was born to set up like a show match kind of style where we use the internet to connect us and we play on the internet, can have a live stream going with it with commentaries, of course, and then we can make this happen, right? Invite just players and yeah, they will make just play a show match and see what's up. So I'm very excited. Next week, Friday, it's there. Like what I can say,
I
something
I
crazy
I,
will happen. I
I,
cannot tell you what, but
I put
yeah.
our banner to everybody can is watching it right now in our channel. It will be this Friday, next Friday, 19th at 19 in Central European time, and we will do it.
Yes, yes. I'm happy you guys are doing the Spanish stream.
Yeah.
Then we have an English stream set up with Janne Lönnqvist, the former Finnish
Yes.
national coordinator, who is like doing the Europacon streams and stuff.
Yes.
And we even have a German stream.
The illustration,
Jennifer will
illustration
have
of
it for German.
Saku, the new Finland Baron, the new Helsinki Baron. It's
Okay.
that's
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And-
I do a little recap, please. Nos comenta Martin que la idea, Paco, ¿qué pasa?
Que quiero, bueno, traduce que le va a hacer ahora una pregunta a Ale.
Claro.
Vale. Mira, la idea de este torneo nace en Milán. El co-culpable de esto es el Mike Jagger,
Mick
Danilo
Jagger.
Torrisi,
Mick Jagger.
que
Danilo.
habla con Martin y se dan cuenta de que hay una serie de jugadores que les gustaría jugar mucho entre ellos, pero que no pueden pues por temas geográficos, que son jugadores que ganan con cierta asiduidad, que piensan que tienen buen nivel. Y entonces, después de ese encuentro en Italia hace 2 semanas, que estuvo también Nano por ahí, por cierto, también que si veis como siempre Blitz de 3 está cerca de lo que se cuece,
El meollo.
pues resulta y Alex también, pues resulta que Martin, hablando con estos jugadores, aprovechando internet, ven que hay una herramienta que puede ser Lucky, que lo que pueden hacer es montar una partida cada un cierto tiempo, que sea retransmitida en stream, que se puede hacer la retransmisión en distintos idiomas. Por ejemplo, Blitz de 3 va a estar haciendo la transmisión en stream en español, pero resulta que Janne Lundqvist, que es el coordinador de Finlandia, que es el varón de 8 nuevo de los Brulla, el dibujo.
Ex coordinador
El
finlandés.
coordinador, perdón,
El
de
coordinador.
Finlandia, el que lo va a hacer en inglés, van a hacer también stream en alemán y posiblemente se haga también en otro idioma. Y que ellos creen que va a ser el Clash of Titans volumen 1, porque la idea es hacer varias ediciones de este torneo y dar la oportunidad a que jugadores de nivel o jugadores reconocidos por la comunidad en distintos países puedan compartir mesa y escena cuando normalmente no pueden hacerlo, porque incluso en un torneo, aunque vayan todos, sabéis que con los emparejamientos puede ser que no coincidas con quien quieres coincidir en las mesas. ¿De acuerdo, Paco? ¿Qué pregunta era?
Quiero que le preguntes que comparándolo con el verdadero Clash of Titans, el que es más Metallica, Antra, o Megadeth.
He's talking about the Clash of Titans, but not about the metal.
He's talking about heavy metal.
Heavy.
Yeah, maybe you can play some heavy metal music at the start.
I think mostly of us love this kind of music, so we should make another.
Better not wake the children.
Yeah, not now today.
No, creo que no la controla mucho, Paco, la música heavy, ¿sabes?
Porque
bueno.
que despierta a los niños, dice. Ahora, que es un poco
Despierta a los
inadecuado.
Hay que agradecerle a Kyle que se ha suscrito, ya que se nos suscribe a alguien, pues por lo menos decirlo
Hombre,
aquí en alto.
Sí,
Un abrazo.
aunque no nos lo merezcamos, gracias al Kyle. Miguel,
Muchísimas gracias.
Miguel, eres un sol.
So about this upcoming match, like I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen, because usually on a BTS table, right, you have some experienced players, some less experienced players, and what will usually happen is that the more experienced players are take advantage of the fact, and you kind of manipulate the other guys to get advantage on the table, right?
Yeah.
So now if you don't have that, and you have like I think Martin Schumacher told me there are like 6 EC titles, 110 tournament winning titles on this table, right? So you have a lot of experience here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So if I try to manipulate Otto into something, it's just not gonna happen, right? Because he knows what's up, right?
No.
So this will be the interesting thing, what happens, who is clashing into whom, building up some tension maybe, and go from there. Yeah. So, and also we were talking about, this is just volume 1, right? And I can think of like at least 10 other tables that would be awesome to watch too. Of course, with Spanish players, we have great players from America, great players from South America. So there's a lot to be set up.
We have to do it. We have to do it, Martin. And I'm going to help you to do it, because I love it.
Yeah.
Bueno, pues
Let's see.
dice básicamente eso, ¿no? Que va a ser muy gracioso ver en una mesa con 5 tíos que llevan 110 torneos entre todos o algo así, ¿no? Y que a ver cómo va a ser la psicología de esa partida, the psychology of the game, ¿no? That could be, cómo va a ser la psicología en esa partida que pues eso, ¿no? Que tú como jugador fuerte normalmente tú te sientas en una mesa, intentas ser amable, ayudar a la gente y cómo te sientas en una mesa con tíos que han ganado pues 85 torneos entre todos, ¿no? O 90 o con verdaderos monstruos que no que va a ser muy curioso el punto de vista, ¿no? Que vamos a ver si podemos hacer para que podamos oír la partida, pero que no nos oigan a nosotros, Nano, que es lo que he pensado que podemos hacer. O sea, hacer en el canal de Discord que los jugadores no nos oigan a nosotros si comentamos.
Eso ya, lo hablamos luego más tranquilamente, pero sí, estaría guay.
Sí,
Lo bonito de esa partida es que no puedes usar trucos Jedi porque todos son maestros Jedi.
yeah, there's no possibility to use mind tricks
Jedi mind
in
tricks,
that
yeah.
game.
Mind trick, Jedi mind trick.
We will try. I mean, I will try, of course, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the chances, maybe, yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Martin, I have a hard question, and I think that it's the moment. In the last podcast, we got an angry discussion about the last change in the rules of two cards. How do you feel about the changes to Emerald Legionnaires and Azure tablets, and why didn't you like them?
No, I was I was a bit sad about the Legionary change because for me personally, it was like a special mechanic, like the recursion from the graveyard. You have to play with a graveyard. You have to, how many cards can I cycle into my graveyard to get the most possible out of it? Stuff kind of thinking. In my mind, it's no longer possible. I mean, the card is still there, but I don't see it, played like to win a tournament.
Ascendance is also a card, but
Yeah.
doesn't really mean that you can play it.
So I was hoping for maybe a different approach, so you can deny the tap dog stuff, and but if you take it with non-unique harbingers, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if people will find a way, I'm not saying there is no way, or you can win tournaments playing playing tier 3 or tier 2 decks. But yeah, that's why I wasn't happy about the Legionary stuff. But,
Maybe Clan Impersonation or something like that.
Yeah, like the win chances of something, some deck with clan impersonation is usually like 0. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Very
the point.
near
So,
to zero, very near.
my point or our point of view was that we are going to see a little like 80 or 70% of the decks with Azure tablets, as I saw, of tournament winning decks or finalist decks or top decks, but we are going to see 0% of Legionnaire decks now on.
I mean, maybe some people, will play it. I mean, I'm not saying they're totally out, but they're not I don't see them like comparable to the tier 1 decks we have now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. If someone tells you, okay, the deck is not longer playable, you have to see what does he mean by that. So when I say that, I mean I won't play it to win a tournament. I might play it for fun or something, but I don't see it in a tournament winning deck. I usually go for the tier 1 decks to maximize my chances.
That's our
So
point.
that's why for me personally, it's no longer viable. But of course, I mean, you can still play it and still make a Harbinger kind of bleedy deck or something. But just the fact that the crypt from the Harbingers is kind of high cap, and then you have like the Legionary was a swarm deck, right? You need a fast deck with a lot of minions, and so I don't see that happening with this change. So that's the thing about the Asher thing. I mean, I get it that they want to get away with this famous, blackjack 21 deck where you have 21 Azure tablets and play, 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 play. It was a bit crazy, yeah. But I
Was
haven't seen them too much because of the recent power change with all the Anach decks and stuff. The meta, I think, already changed away from the blackjack being dominant. But then again, I think the Azure tablets is probably a good change
but
in the
but
in
I
the
think it was for the that the people try to use the new cards in the tournaments because it's still there. People still uses you still from time to time. You can see Sibel, you can see Nanaburuku, you can see multi-master decks reach in the final, and there are not too much. I think there are you, for example, one of the decks you can see most in the tournaments are Bruja decks, and they don't win anything. But people like to play and so on. So that's well, as you said, you like to play Tier 1 decks, but not every people that go to the tournament play a Tier 1 deck, and this thing happens with Azure. Uh, Azure was a Tier 1 deck, and but people didn't want to play it. They prefer to play Bruja.
Yeah. Like I remember the last tournament in Vienna, I had my prey. I was playing a Kurshi Legionary deck. My prey was playing Malkavian Stealth Split, and his prey was playing the infamous Blackjack 21 Azure tablet. Like he will generate 6
Yes.
pool each turn, kind
Yeah.
of. And the Malkavian was like, he was like, yeah, he didn't like his position. Let's put it this way. And the only thing he was saying, like, nerf coming next year, it was like, he was
Yeah,
like
because
happy,
because
he was like happy
because,
that
because
it's gonna be nerfed.
he
Right?
plays liquidation Ashur liquidation
Yeah, yeah.
Ashur Ashur. And
He was like fed up with it. So I'm, even though I'm not too happy about the change, I'm happy for the people who really disliked playing against these decks. And there are probably more people that weren't happy than people that was happy. So it's good that the change is there, I guess.
okay,
Okay, I'm going to do the recap. Le hemos preguntado a Martin que qué opina de los cambios en los legionarios y en las surtables. En los legionarios dice pues que el legionario ha dejado de existir como un mazo explosivo, porque la otra opción que habría de jugarlo con el cambio que le han hecho a los legionarios es jugarlo con un mazo con muchos vampiros, pero que por la alta capacidad que tienen los heraldos de las calaveras, pues que eso es imposible, y que es un mazo que podemos considerar que ha desaparecido del juego como un mazo tier 1 o un mazo que sea apto para torneos, que habrá gente que lo jugará, pero que será por gusto. Luego, con respecto a las surtables, él cree que del cambio se va a alegrar la gente que odia jugar contra mazos de asurtables y que odiará el cambio la gente que juega con Azure. Él ha comentado que con el cambio de poder que estaba viendo con las últimas ampliaciones se estaban viendo menos mazos de Cibel o el Blackjack, el de 21 Azure Tablets, que se vio recientemente en Milán en Viena, y ha contado la anécdota de un mazo Malkavian de Blitz que tenía como presa un Blackjack, y que el Blackjack, recuperándose 6 de pool cada turno, pues hizo que el Malkavian cayera en la desesperación y jurara que no volvería a jugar hasta el año que viene, de acuerdo otra vez a VTS. Y él cree pues que, en fin, la de la Azure ha sido un cambio, pero que sí, que pondrá contento a la gente que odia jugar con Azure, pero que cree que a la gente que juega con Azure tablets pues le ha hecho pues un fastidio. Pues Martin, if you please, we want to do to you some questions that in the that have appeared in the chat of Twitch. First question, Oriol from BCN Crisis, the man who has made the app that allows us to play in Spain and share with European people, and he has write the question in English. Thanks a lot, Oriol. Martin, how do you feel about your decks being analyzed and shared to the community? Just doing it with your A Little Surprise deck, for example. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy to share. Like, I'm a very old Methuselah. I played so much, and at some point in the game, you think about like giving something back to the community, right? So So I'm happy, like people take ideas, they can analyze my decks and hope have some fun, have some ideas with that. So yeah, I actually like it. And if you see my Facebook content, you usually get
Yes.
my deck list and stuff and my ideas about, and I'm happy to share and discuss. Yeah.
He has published three ideas for the three new decks, and he usually tries to explain how you can face a game, a final, seat position. He's a little bit our competitor because he is a little bit like an streamer, but in Facebook. Well,
Yeah,
I,
I guess.
yeah, I think, but it's nice because you're he speaks about the kind of player you can find, if it's aggressive, if it's well, that it's quite nice. It's quite recommendable to have a look at the Martin's Facebook. He
Yeah,
has.
what I have to
Pues,
say about deck building and stuff. I mean, there are great guides out there and whatnot. If you look up a deck list, just don't forget it's just like from this person, right? So you have to take
Yes,
it and change a couple cards
to
because
to make it
you are
yours,
you, right?
to make
It's
it
make
yours.
it yours, yeah. And if it's just like 2 3 cards, it's still it still shifts something into your style of playing.
That's it.
Because some decks you cannot play because it's just a different style and you won't have too much success.
That's
Then
it.
you have to get the idea from the deck. That's cool, and then but there's change the cards that work for you
Yeah,
specifically,
it
because
it
that's really important, I think.
it happens to me. It happens to me when I see always a not so deck. I can't play with it with that. I can't play
Yeah.
with that deck. He has too many masters. I play with that deck and I always have five master cards in hand.
Yeah. This is a very, very good example. So there is a lot of preferences about Mastercards specifically. So what's your playstyle, right? If I take my playstyle, I play a little bit more master heavy because
Yes.
they have a great impact. But you have to be super careful. You have to discard master cards all the time. If you're the kind of player doesn't do that, then it's too many master cards,
Yeah,
of
that's
course.
it. That's
Then
it.
you have a problem with that. Then you have to change the deck, make it less master cards,
That's
more
it.
cycling.
Maybe
Depending on how you play.
maybe he is more used to discard a mastercard. I usually don't never discard a mastercard because when I put a mastercard in the deck because I want to use it normally, and it's quite strange
Yeah.
that I discard it. Maybe I have to think about it.
Yeah, that's just an example, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
this you can
sure.
find it with all the other cards, and it's also a play style.
But
Some
but
players play
always
fast.
always they can tell you that when I see always an Otsu deck, I say always, oh, it's too many masters. I have in turn three a hand jam with five masters always. I don't know why.
Yeah, but also likes to play with the 6 Escher tablet deck.
Yeah, sure. Well, he has
lo- lo bueno.
his way, I think.
I do the recap.
Yeah, sure.
Como le hemos preguntado a Martin que qué siente cuando ve que la comunidad comparte sus mazos, que son copiados y demás, él dice que se siente muy feliz, que a él le encanta compartir. Él reconoce que tiene una parte de jugador que es competitivo, pero también tiene una parte de persona que quiere ayudar a la comunidad. De hecho, a él también le gusta ver mazos, le gusta sacar ideas y lo que sí recomienda, os recomendamos que le sigáis en Facebook, que Martín hace un trabajo de difusión, pues nosotros tenemos nuestro tweet, nuestro podcast, pues Martín lo hace a través de su página de Facebook, os recomendamos que le sigáis. Y él lo que sí comenta es que es muy importante que cuando encontramos un mazo, que lo hagamos nuestro, que le demos nuestra personalidad, que le cambiamos las cartas que creamos convenientes y que disfrutemos de ello y que compartamos, ¿de acuerdo? Él es muy, muy, muy pro que se compartan los mazos. Now I try to do another question of one of our spectators, Eddie Betes. Martin, with what frequency do you play? If you use the meta game of your community in the building of your decks, or you are a free spirit and use another kind of information to build the decks that you play?
About the frequency, it depends. Usually, I play. Yeah, we didn't mention it, but you usually find me on Lecky CCG
Yes.
online tool. And what I do the most is actually if I have an idea about a deck, I play a lot of one-on-one games. So actually, I play by myself because I get a lot of value about cycling cards and stuff. So when I build a deck, I usually I have a second deck which is a Wiener Dementation deck. So I use it a one-on-one game to play against the Wiener Dementation and see can I survive basically some special rules just to see that card draw and stuff like that. Because
Nice.
if I go to my local play group, it takes a lot of time, 2 hours for a game, and you might not get too much information out of it for the table stuff, the table talks. But you play a one-on-one online game. It takes like 10, 15 minutes something, and you get a general feeling about the cycling of your deck.
Interesting.
So that's what a lot of time goes into when we talk about frequency. Other than that, there are so many tournaments around here, so you can basically go every 2 weeks, or at least a month. You can go to a tournament, plus the games you just play. So I would say high frequency at the moment. So
Nice.
and about net decking stuff, yes, I do it too. Like recently, I'm looked at the tournament winning deck archive, and I looked up all of Hugh Angsy, our CEO from Black Chantry. So I see what Hugh has like over 40 or no over 50 or 60 tournament winning decks. It's crazy.
Yes.
So I like to analyze his styles. What does he put into the deck? And I was kind of surprised about Hugh's choices, because he's like a really how do you call it? Not so much toolboxy, but he put a lot of powerful cards in each of his decks. So he had this crazy mission to make any clan win, and he actually achieved it. So he has a tournament winning deck with every clan in the game, which is actually a crazy feat. Yeah. So about net tagging, I like to check tournament winning decks and see them, maybe get some couple ideas from them, and then build it into my decks. So yeah.
Great.
I'll do the recap again. Bueno, Martin lo que comenta es que él intenta jugar siempre que puede, esa es la realidad, y que él lo que hace para testear los mazos es hacer online con compañeros y colegas. Lo que hace es jugar partidas de 1 contra 1 y tiene una piedra de toque que es jugar contra mazos de Blitz, por ejemplo, de Dementación,
Dice
para
que
ver
tiene,
cómo va el flow del mazo.
dice que tiene un mazo específico con unas reglas especiales de dementación para probarlos.
Sí. Para probarlo, claro, si puedes esquivar una llave inglesa, puedes esquivar cualquier cosa, no me parece mala idea. Y con eso es con lo que prueba, y luego aparte que como hay un mayor número de torneos que se puede jugar, y aparte él puede jugar también torneos de Lucky, eso le permite a él ir probando. Y a él recomienda mucho mirar las listas de mazos ganadores en sitios como BCN Crisis, las listas de los mazos finalistas. Y por último hace una reseña que nos recuerda que Hugh Cassensin, el CEO de Black Chantry, aparte de CEO de Black Chantry y enemigo mortal de Blitz 3, era un jugador que ha ganado más de 60 torneos y que ha ganado torneos con todos los clanes prácticamente, y que es un tío muy interesante para cogerlo como referencia e inspirarse para hacer mazos. Y que tenemos que prestarle atención a lo que son las cartas poderosas, las cartas que sirven para matar cuando estamos construyendo el mazo. Muy bien. Martin, I have a last question of our public. Okay. How are you looking for the new cards that are being introduced in the new meta actual, the new meta game with the new decks? We have before the program we have been talking about Ravnos. We have been talking about the Gangrel Anarch, the Anarch environment. Do you think that it's any card or any clan that is overpowered or is strongest that the media, or which is your vision, your general vision about the new changes and the new cards?
Yeah. I didn't have too much time to play with it yet. I tried out the Salubri. They're kind of like your recent, went through Stickman decks. Maybe a little bit stronger, maybe same kind of power level. About the strongest deck, I would think it's gonna be the Ravnos. Like it's like the new Ministry with a little Week of Nightmares to finish. I mean, it's really powerful, right? So I would think that the Ravnos will be the most powerful one. And of course, then you have the Zimiska deck, which is very close to my style with Stanislava. So yeah, because it's Protean dominate. We all know it's a good combination, right? It's powerful. The good thing is about the Protean thing is like you get the stealth and you get the combat defense with the Form of Mist, Earth Melt, angle. So it's a lot. It's versatile. That's why you see in Ministry decks is Platinum Protocol is really strong because you get the Protean stealth angle even with Obfuscate, and then you have it's really strong. So I would think the Ravnos is gonna be the best deck in the upcoming 3 months. And also one thing I want to mention, if you are like a more of a new player who come into the game, I think it's important that you learn the game from the basics. And if you have an idea, play whatever you really think it's fun for you. But I would really recommend, going with the basics. Take like a bleedy deck at first. I will almost compare it like you're learning to drive a car, right? So you have to get the mechanics right with your car, and then after you have the mechanics and you're comfortable with it, then you can look more about your what's happening on the street, right? So I would recommend if you're a new player, try a more bleed deck, get comfortable with the mechanics, and combat, intercept, vote is a lot more advanced, takes a lot more time, more difficult. It's great that it's there, but yeah. So you don't get overwhelmed with table dynamics and stuff like that. If you still need to learn how you play your cards right and do the
Yeah,
cycling and
and
stuff.
the Ravnos is a great point of start, I think.
Yeah, and a very powerful, powerful one. I mean, we will see what happens with the little contesting stuff because you have one crypt,
Yeah, what
and
in the
yeah, we will
beginning,
have
it will be a problem, sure.
yeah, it will be funny. Like we have a online tournament planned on the 4th of February where we can
Yeah.
play all the new cards,
Yes.
and it's going to be fun to see what's happening. We will also use the multi deck rule.
Yes.
So if there are too many contests and whatever, you can change your deck in the second round and
Yes.
yeah, and play that.
Everyone has a Chimais, a Salubri, and the Ravnos deck, so they can share
I mean,
between
yeah,
the.
it's probably gonna happen.
Ok. In recap, Martin nos dice que de todo lo que está saliendo nuevo, a él le está llamando mucho la atención en cuanto a poder bruto el mazo Rapnos, ¿de acuerdo? Cree que van a ser los nuevos ministerios y recuerda que la evolución del ministerio ha sido que se ha instalado como uno de los mazos top tier en el entorno. También nos comenta que él, como jugador de Stanislava, él cree que mazo de Simise, que tiene dominación y que tiene Protean, más los combines de Protean y el sigilo de Protean, que ese mazo tiene que funcionar seguro y cree que va a ser también un mazo muy potente. Lo que sí recomienda a la gente más nueva o los nuevos jugadores, siempre recomienda empezar por jugar mazos de Blitz, que son los mazos más sencillos, que conozcas tus cartas, el efecto de las cartas, el orden en el que hay que jugarlas y que luego pases a cartas más avanzadas. Y ha comentado que el día 4, creo que ellos tienen ya un primer
Eso
torneo
es.
donde van a poder usar todas estas cartas, que van a usar el nuevo formato multideck, que os recordamos que es ya legal jugar en construido el formato multideck, y que está seguro que ese día se van a contestar muchos mazos, pero que hay ganas de jugar
Porque todos queremos
los,
jugar los
los,
mazos
los
nuevos,
nuevos
claro.
juegos.
Well,
All we want to play.
yeah, one of the things I wanted to say is that I think the main difference between the Ramnos and the
Ministry.
Ministry are the Ramnos vote version could be a little bit not so powerful, I think, and they don't have an easier multi-action. But in the
True.
in the blitz side, they can bleed very very hard with with not very big cap vampires. So it it will be a powerful deck, but not similar to Ministry. I think it would be more similar to
La
yeah,
Malkavian Steel and Bleed.
Malkavian Steel and Bleed with Dementation or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
And there's the other
but
thing to mention is maybe, the little Mastercard everyone loves to see is Achon Investigation.
Yeah,
And
sure.
then you have you have like this new card, Visions of Gehenna. It's actually a +2 bleed card. And then if you couple it with Break the Bonds, which is the go-to bleed card, you end up bleeding for 4. So this might be a little bit of a Ravnos problem if there are if there are more bleed decks in the table and more people will play Achon Investigation, and then you play a deck which usually plays for 4, it
Yeah,
can be
yes.
troublesome. So we will see what happens.
Yesterday, there were some Arcon investigations on the game. We played yesterday 2 games with Ramnos decks, and they swept the table both times. Because it's
Nice.
yeah, because they are really really. It's a killing machine, and it's very very strange, very very extreme powerful, and the that when someone plays an Arcon investigation, it's not a problem for them because
Mhm. It's still a
the
bleed for 3,
vampire,
right?
yeah, because it's a tillable for 3, and probably they have made a couple of 3 or 2 bleeds for 2 or 3, and it's a vampire for 6 or for 4 or for 5. So mm,
They
you
still kill you, yeah.
yeah, you didn't lose too much, because when when you're killing your prey, you win 6 of pool again. So no, it's not a big deal. Only if you put an Archon investigation, it will be more useful to play 2 or 3 Archon investigation. But everybody plays
Yeah, it depends.
12,
There are
12.
some greedy players, who go with the first action. And if
Yeah,
you,
they
I mean,
prefer
if you are on the first vampire, it's
play
gonna hurt.
play 12 bounce cards or 15 bounce cards, and they think, no, I have 15 bounce cards, I don't need Arcon investigation.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be exciting. Like now you have three potential bleed decks, very good bleed decks
Now
putting
this
into the
this one this
equation.
this one is
So
really powerful. So it
yeah, so it will definitely change the meta game a little bit, and then we will
so
see what happens. Right,
it
people will
maybe to
put
put an Arcon
different cards.
investigation almost in all decks is not a stupid thing, because from everyone can bounce right now. That everybody. So the Blitz yesterday was taken round and round from the table one or twice, but because everyone has 2 or 3 bounce cards in hand, but nobody has Arcon investigation, or only was 1 or 2 Arcon investigation in all the games.
Yeah,
So
it's
maybe,
gonna be fun.
yeah, at this point we discover that we played because Diego from the Thessalian Scrolls was too in the game, and we saw too that um, reduced bleed cards are using more with Vision of Zapatashura, with Deep Ecology, with Party After Bounce, and they are used a little bit more that the typical telepathic counter, and
Yeah,
it's
we
and
even get
it's
a new card now from the
yeah,
Ravnos Visions of Zapatustra, right? It's
Zapatasura, yeah.
very powerful. Yeah.
I played it on a unnamed deck, and it's great for it.
we're
Uh,
gonna see what happens. It,
Um,
it
yeah,
kind
we'll
of
see. We'll
with
see.
all the pre-decks, it reminds me a little bit of the early days when you had this card Return to Innocence.
Yes.
There was a Rika on the table, and you play Return of Innocence, so you bleed with the capacity.
With
So
the
it's
capacity and,
bleed for
and
11
burn. Yeah.
plus 2 plus conditioning. It was bleed for 16. And then what happens was the one guy who did have one less deflection would lose the game.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Uh,
Maybe we get the more faster games now.
yeah, but
could be.
one side effect of the nerf of the Legionnaires, I think most of the decks that can redirect will increase the number of redirection in their decks because Legionnaires was one of the less impacted decks
By bounce
against
cards.
deflection by bounce card. So decks that deflected use less deflection card because it doesn't matter. There are not too many six bleed decks, and there are a lot of Legionnaires deck or one or two bleed decks. Now that they are gone, and now that they are out of sight, I think they will be out of sight. Um, and there are at least two or three big bleeders
New
deck
power.
in the meta.
Yeah, that's it.
Uh, we are going to see deflections everywhere. So
Much
you
more,
can
much
find
bounce cards.
you can find the Tlapnos and Ministry in V5, and also you have the Salubri decks also bleeding too
Salubri
hard.
decks is bleeding too hard.
Also, Salubri can redirect. They can bounce with 4 different cards. That's also
Yes.
amazing. Um, I think maybe the game will be a little bit boring with
Not
I mean,
boring
because
we
it's
will see
because
to test, right?
because there when it's a big
it's a
bleed,
lottery.
it's a big bleed that yesterday I saw. It's a bleed for 4 at 2 stealth. It go. I bounce to my prey. I bounce to my prey. I bounce to my prey. DI sudden to your DI. Bounce to your prey. I reduce the bleed and I take one. And,
Sounds good.
yeah. And it was the game was with a bleed of 1 or 2, it takes nothing. Someone takes 1 or 2, and that's it. But a bleed of
Yeah.
3 or 4 at 2 stealth, it takes out 3 or 4 bounce cards, 1 DI or one, and 1 reduce cards, and it makes it faster in some way.
Yeah, and make some different possibilities. Like how do you go from there? You can either, if everyone plays a lot of deflections, you can kind of counter it with a different strategy. For example,
Yes.
you don't deflect. If you don't deflect, and you kind of reduce your stuff or just block it, then your prey will sit on his deflections, right?
For
So you
example,
can use it and come up with different strategies to counter the meta.
one o-
So either you go with the meta or you kind of try to counter it. And it will be right, I think, exciting to see people coming up with good strategies to counter the decks that play 12 deflections, right? So
yes.
that's gonna be good to see.
One of the things we were talking about that I played a Banu Hakim deck with 14 or 15 second edition, and it's been in the last 6 months one of the most powerful decks, but they don't bounce. And I had two prince. No, I had the prince and the Justica. I had a bowl of convergence on the prince that has inferior aspect, so I couldn't pay for more intercept. I had a market square, and I played, I think, 2 or 3 for tradition, so the prince came out mostly for free. So I spent 10 pull in take out my pass, and he take me off the table in 6 or 7 turns. And I played I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 second traditions, but I couldn't block any of them.
I would suggest more villains in the deck.
I don't play villains because I played it's my version because I played 10 for tradition, but he took me 20 of pool in 6 decks in 6 turns, and I was trying to block him at 4 intercept mostly of the times,
Yeah, I
but
guess.
he passed me all the time, and he killed me.
Sorry, chaps, but I try to do a very synthesized resume of
Oof.
the last 10 minutes.
Yes,
Okay,
or
I
maybe
try.
15.
It's easy. It's
It's
easy.
They're
it's
getting
easy.
These
carried
guys,
away.
these men are cry all the time. Solo están llorando.
it's very easy.
Se están quejando mucho. Only cry.
Martin ha usado Auspex y él cree que se va a producir un cambio en el metajuego. Nano también lo piensa, Alex también, que el hecho de que se va a acelerar el metajuego porque hay mazos de Blitz muy potentes, hay mazos de Bounce, de deflectar muy potentes con mucho acceso a muchas cartas para deflectar. Tampoco se puede perder de vista que hay muchas cartas de redirección de daño y han estado hablando que podemos llegar a un metajuego en el cual el que tenga un deflection menos en la mano sea el que se muera en un turno en una partida, que es también una forma muy divertida del juego. Y Nano ha hecho incidencia, porque Nano ha venido a hablar de su libro, de que el hecho de que haya menos legionarios, que a un mazo que no sangra de mucho, va a permitir que gente que metía cartas para permitirse de mazos como legionarios puede usar esos espacios para meter cartas para hacer bunce, básicamente. Y luego pues Ale ha estado llorando que sus pobres Banu Hakim no paran una mierda, por mucho que juega segundas tradiciones y demás, ¿vale? Y este ha sido el resumen de la jornada, ¿de acuerdo? Have you any one of you have one last question for our dear friend Martin? Because we are at 20 European hour, and we have 1 quarter of program of direct. Any last question, Nano, Alex, Martin?
No.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say, like in general, to not go into too much detail, but when I look back over the years, I'm as a tournament player especially, I'm pretty happy with what BCB has done, like in terms of the new decks, the Gangler now and this new edition, like they are really, really, really playable. So I know that some people like a more I don't know, more creative approach maybe, which happened in the past. But for me as a tournament player, it's just great. You get 3 new decks and you can play each of them. You can play a little different
Yes.
version. Maybe before the bleed decks, we see a little comeback of the little war ghouls, and also with the legionary gun, the legionary players will find other swarm decks. Like you still have a lot of different swarm decks out there. So I don't think the swarm type will be gone from tournaments. It will just be a different type. So I'm pretty happy with that and excited to see what happens next.
Okay,
Great.
okay. It's curious, Martin, because BCP thinks that we hate them, and sometimes we have stressed relations, but we have a great friendship. For example, with Dan Nance, with Gines Quiñonero, who is listening to us in Twitch.
Yeah,
And
Guinness
he's
is
going to
great.
make
Shout out
Gines
to Guinness. Great job with the
is
Spanish community and stuff.
Yeah,
Love him.
sure.
It's a pillar of our community. I'm going to translate. Nos dice Martin que él quiere agradecer el esfuerzo que está haciendo Black Chanty Productions, BCP, en lo que es la emisión de estos nuevos mazos, que él como jugador competitivo agradece que se saquen mazos que son jugables, que son mazos potentes, que se le pueden meter algunos cambios y que sean mazos competitivos, que él entiende que puede haber personas que echen de menos esa parte más antigua del juego en la cual tú tenías que construir desde más de cero los mazos, los arquetipos que jugabas a partir de los sobres y de los boosters, pero que él cree que se está haciendo una buena política y con un buen ritmo de lanzamiento, y que él quería agradecer al equipo de Black Chantry Productions esta cuestión. Anda, Gina, es que me han obligado a hablar bien de ti. Manda narices, la película. Bueno, Martin, I have made a little joke with Gines because sometimes we don't speak soft of Black Chantry. We are very hard with them, but but you but I can assure you that we love them and we respect the work that they do because if there is not Black Chantry Productions, we can know where the game will be at the present.
Sure.
It has been a differential action that the group of Black Chanty Productions have taken for the good sake of the game. Martin, we don't have any questions. We have only gratitude to you. And thank you very much, Martin, for the time that you have dedicated to us tonight. And the team of Lead the Tres, we wish you to the best in life, in the game, and with the project that you have, that is Clash of Titans. If you want to make the latest spot of Clash of Titans for the next Friday,
Yeah,
it's your time.
we will see on Friday, I guess.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and I'm happy you have a great stream here with a lot of people and doing a lot for the Spanish community. So it's really great to see having some content for the people to watch.
We try to.
And I'm looking forward to a super special, nice year of VTS. We have so much stuff going on. If you are at home and you don't have a regular player base, feel free, join us on the Discord, on Facebook. We have the online community, people playing on Tabletop Simulator, on Lecky. We have a lot of tournaments going on, and next one is going to be in Lisbon, the Lisbon Grand Prix actually. So I hope to see some of you guys over there in Lisbon in second week of March. It will be great. And then I heard there will be in April there will be a Grand Prix in Paris.
Yeah.
And of course this all accelerates into the next EC in Poland end of September. So I'm really excited, happy with all the new cars, all the stuff we got to play, and I think it will be fun.
Great.
Thank you, Martin. Really.
Thank you so much,
A
Martin.
great interview, a great time for us, and we'll see in tournaments, sure. Bueno, público, que Martín pues nos ha dicho que va a haber grandes eventos, que piensa que va a ser un magnífico año el 2024 para la comunidad y que espera veros pues en los torneos. Ha comentado que va a haber uno importante en Lisboa en marzo, que él cree que va a haber luego el momento culminante de la temporada, que va a ser el europeo de Polonia de este año y que espera encontrarse con vosotros y con nosotros por estos torneos y por estos lares. Pues
Bueno, y que si no, por las plataformas, por Lucky, por...
eso, y que si no, yo es que soy un boomer. Eso que por Lucky, por Tabletop y demás, que nos unamos al Facebook, al Discord que tienen de jugadores, que eso además Alex lo controla bastante, el Facebook de jugadores para Lucky en Europa, para gente que quiere echarse partiditas. Eso sí, tenemos que mejorar todo el inglés para poder jugar por Lucky, que no se nos olvide. Y poco más. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Me lo voy a poner...
Have
voy
we
a poner...
finished?
No lo voy a poner. Yo creo que sí, ¿no?
Gracias, guys.
That's all.
Okay, that are my last words. I can't speak anymore. Sorry, I'm really tired.
Okay, guys. So see you next the next program.
Next Friday, see you.
Yeah,
Next
Yeah,
Friday.
we will see you next
bleed
Friday.
with,
Responsibility.
bleed with responsibility, bleed for free. Remember always. And
Don't bleed
Yes,
for,
yes,
bleed
exactly.
3.
No, for four you can they can play an Arco investigation and we
yeah, and it's a bleed for free.
it's for free. It's yes better. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye, boys. Bye.
Bye bye.